Google is always trying to keep people on google.com. They don't want you to leave the search result page. If they can give you the correct answer to what you're searching for right there on the search result page, they will make more money. Why? Because 84% of Google's revenue is generated from ads. So as soon as the searcher leaves google.com to go to one of your or mine blogs or websites that we are creating to make money, Google will feel like they are losing because they're not getting that nice ad revenue. They want people to click on the ads instead of visiting your website and my websites. So over the years, Google has been getting smarter and smarter about keeping people inside the Google world. And that means they're coming up with many creative ways of how to show people exactly what they're looking for, so they don't have to leave Google to get that information. And that has been the death of many websites over the last decade. I'll show you in a second exactly what I'm talking about here. I'll show you some examples of how this looks. And I created this video to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. I don't want you to build a website around a topic or an aspect of something that Google is slowly killing by showing that information right on the search result page. And in the very end, I'll also show you some creative tips on how to send even more traffic to your website from Google, even though Google might get a lot of snippets and special features that shows a lot of that information that your readers are looking for. And I'm not talking about topics so much here. I'm more talking about types of content that I wouldn't build a website around today. When we're talking about specific topics to stay away from, we're more talking about what we call your money, your life. And if you don't know what that is, click that little card up here where I show you exactly which topics you should stay away from, simply because Google is hitting hard on financial topics, health, political, e-commerce, and many other things. Just click the little card up here if you want to know more about that. So let me show you some prime examples of how Google has been showing the answers to what people are searching for in Google over the last couple of years. And after I've shown you these examples, I'll get back to some of the new types of content that I wouldn't write anymore. Let me show you here on my screen. Let's say you were typing in a search like, what's the weather in New York? You can see this box right here. It's bad news if you are the owner of weather.com or AccuWeather or any other of these search results here. They're definitely not getting a lot of traffic. As you can see here, they built a whole tool around this. You can switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius just by clicking. You can check for the wind. You can go to a specific date and so on. So why would you bother leaving Google when you have all this data right here? Another example here are flight prices. At search like cheap flights from New York to Houston, for quite a while Google has been showing these listings right here. And if you click on anything here, or if you click here, you'll be taken to a whole site here designed by Google to keep you inside the Google world so they can make money from every click here. Remember again that Google is just a huge advertising company. That's by far the biggest stream of revenue they have. So I wouldn't build a travel site with a lot of information about how to get from A to B or how fast or how much it would cost. This is something that Google has been taking over for many years. Another example here, what's the time in New York? You can see that right here. Google just built a little bot that can compare time zones and let you know what the time is anywhere in the world. They're just showing the result right there without any sources or anything. And back in 2017, Google also started to look heavily into job listings. So I wouldn't build a site around job listings anymore. Let's say you wanted to look for jobs in New York. Of course, you have the ads first, and then you have jobs near New York. You can look for management, the past 3 days, full-time, sales and retail. And again, as soon as you interact with this search result, let's say I was interested in advertising and marketing, you'll be taken to this huge page here that Google built around this topic. Now you can dig even deeper. You can see a lot of topics up here you can click. You can even go by company type, employer, date posted, location. So as you can see, this will be very hard for you to compete with. It's fast, it's intuitive, and you can go anywhere with this and say, I want a job in textiles and apparel. 5 days ago, these guys posted this. And another thing Google has been taking over for a long time is events. Again, you have to scroll past all these ads here, and then Google simply pull in all the data from events. And again, as soon as you interact with this, you'll be taken to a whole hub with everything about events. So don't build out a website about concerts in your area, or festivals, or shows, or nightlife. But again, there's many ways to get around this, so stick to the end of this video. Don't give up already on your new website. There's many things you can write on and still get a ton of search traffic from Google. I just want to show you some topics to stay away from, and these are some of the topics that Google have been hitting hard for a long time. Another example here is calculators like this. How many dollars are 300 British pounds? So let's say you own one of these calculators down here. You wouldn't get a lot of traffic these days because you can even say like 5 years, 1 year, and so on, and you can instantly see all the things you want to know. The same thing goes for stock prices. Let's say you're interested in Tesla stocks. You can also look at it for a very long time period or for the last 5 days to see what's going on right now. So again, this is very bad news for these websites down here because obviously they're not getting much traffic anymore. Something very different would be how many calories in a pizza. And Google has also built out a pretty funny tool here. You can even choose if you're talking about Domino's pizza or if you're talking about Pizza Hut or Papa John's The Works pizza. You see, they even dig into specific types of pizza from Domino's. So again, I hope you're not building a website about calories and pizzas or any other type of food for that matter. Another tool they built a long time ago is if you want to know something like how many weeks in a year or how many hours to a minute. If it's data that's easy to obtain and easy to calculate with a little formula, don't build it because Google will definitely look into it if it's remotely interesting. So now you know a bit more about what I'm talking about. And before we continue, I just want to say all is not lost. It's not like blogging is dead or you can't make money blogging or with passive websites anymore. It's definitely still a very good business model. Trust me, I'm investing hugely in this right now. And I think it has never been better than right now because more and more people are getting on Google every year. You just need to go about it in the right way. And stick to the end of this video where I'll show you how to utilize some of these features to your advantage in order to get even more traffic than before. So the first type of articles that I wouldn't write today, and I wouldn't advise you write today, is topics that answer very specific or tiny questions. Don't get too specific or too factual when you are finding topics to write about. You need to go for topics where emotion and opinions matter more. Find topics where people want to know what you are thinking. They want an expert to tell them about this. And that's why a website around easy facts or quick numbers is very risky to do today. Let me show you some examples on my screen here. So here are a few topics that I would not write an article about. Let's say you wanted to write an article about how long or how big is a football field. You get the first primary answer right here, but you get much more than that. They also found a picture for you. You can just click this and go to this picture and see the dimensions. You can also see here how many yards it's wide and long and so on. Another example here could be how deep is the ocean. As you see here, Google pulled out some numbers here as well. 2.3 miles deep on average. But here, obviously, you have much more to offer. You could look into how deep is the deepest spot. Could you even show some video footage from that area? Stuff like that. That's a good example of how you can offer more information, and we'll get back to that in the end of the video. The second type of content that I wouldn't write today is content that's simply comparing prices or listing prices for specific products. These types of articles have been doing really well for affiliate marketing for a long time, simply because when people are asking for lists of prices or price comparison tables, they're definitely on a buying mode. They want to find the best deal, and that's exactly where we want to meet them on our blog and on our website. But if this is all you have to offer the reader, Google will simply pull the table from your website and just show it directly on the search result page. And now you won't get that nice traffic going over to your website and nobody would click your affiliate links. Let me show you two examples here of what I'm talking about. Okay, let's look at some price comparisons here. If you were searching Google for best prices on MacBooks, Here Google has pulled in a pretty massive featured snippet from CNET. So obviously CNET did some nice comparison tables right here, and Google just stole the data. List prices, best prices overall. So if you're not looking to buy your laptop online, why would you go to CNET? I mean, you have the data right here. Let's take a look at something much worse. Let's say you were doing something about water heaters. And I know this is a popular search term for affiliate sites because water heaters are in that nice price range. It's a pretty pricey product and you have some big brands to promote. Let's scroll past the ads here. If you keep scrolling, you will have the people also ask. And now, top 12 water heaters. And we're not talking ads here. See, there's no sponsored icon here. They are over here, sponsored. So all the way down here, you can scroll past 12 water heaters. And they have data about reviews. They have a lot of things they can compare here. Capacity, what type it is it natural gas, electric? So you will have to go all the way down here below this before you see actual websites that would take you off of google.com. And as you can imagine, many of websites are losing a ton of traffic over this, simply because Google is pulling out that data and showing it right there on the search result page so people don't have to click away. We need to dig deeper and we need to show more to the visitor than simply just prices and comparison tables. We need to come up with our own data, and I'll get back to that in the end of this video. The next type of content that I want you to stay away from today are practical how-to guides. If you want to show a step-by-step process on how to do something, you need to think about how Google is putting up YouTube videos all over the search result page right now. And I know Google has been doing this for a long time, but there's something new to this. Today Google is doing a much better job of transcribing all the video material so they know exactly where inside that video they should point the user. See here how it looks right now. Let's start by looking at how Google has been featuring YouTube videos for a long time. You've seen this carousel up here many times, I'm sure. But again, it gets much worse. If you see the result like this, how to repair a zipper. So see here how Google is suggesting exactly where you should look in the video. At 59 seconds, you will know how to repair a zipper. And it's virtually taking up all the space here. And I don't think you would get a lot of traffic if you had this article here at Lifehacker, Ray.com, Family Handyman, and so on. And this is a prime example of something I wouldn't write an article about. If I wanted to share information about how to repair a zipper, I would definitely do a YouTube video, and then I would embed that YouTube video on my article. So if you want to go for these types of content anyway, you should take a look at a website like ehow.com. Look at how they're using a ton of pictures and a ton of visuals to show people how to do this. If you don't want to be on camera and shoot YouTube videos to embed on your website, you should at least have a lot of visual graphics on your website. eHow is killing it with these types of content, but if you can't do the graphics yourself and you don't want to hire a graphic designer, I wouldn't go this route. And if you don't want to get into YouTube, I would stay away from crafts, how-to tutorials, makeup, interior design projects, and so on. Just think about it. Would you rather watch a YouTube video? Then you shouldn't create a website about it. So I promised you here in the end, I will give you some good tips on how to get more traffic, even if you are in a space where Google is showing all that information up there in the snippet area. So one way to go about this is to craft a very good title for your article. If you can create a very enticing title for your article, you can still be able to pull in the visitor from Google. As people see this data up there in the featured snippet that Google took from your website, they will also see the bolded header right below it, and they will click that header if you make it enticing. Let's take a look at my screen here. Alright, so the trick here is to always make sure that the reader can see they will get much more value if they actually go to your article. Let's take the first example here. What happens if you drive too fast on a spare tire? So obviously you can see the answer right here, but see how they crafted this title. 5 things you should know about donut spare tires. So now I'm interested to know what are those 5 things, because I am not getting 5 things up here. So that's one way to go about it. Just tell the reader that you have much more to offer. Here's another example. Ways to heat a house without electricity. So here's the featured snippet, and they counted 11 ways to heat a house without electricity. And the thing with these list snippets is they typically go to around 6, 7, or 8. So as long as you keep the list much longer, people will still benefit from going to your website because, of course, you want all the ways you can heat a house without electricity. And the last example I want to show you is this one, how to open a wine bottle with a knife. So let's say you want the snippet up here. See again how they created this title here. 5 crazy ways to open a wine bottle and still drink it. It's a little clickbaity, but if you ask me, it's not too much. I would want to know about all the 5 crazy ways I could do this to impress my friends next time I want to open a wine bottle with a knife, right? Hit the little subscribe button if you like this content, because I have much more coming up for you. And I'm also working on a full course that will show you exactly how I build passive income websites. So make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want all that good information. See you next time.